Today is the day I will change my luck. I will fight 3 pennies and they'll be heads up. I will walk like a queen in my tennies and jeans, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Yeah, today is the day I'll remember to see only good, only God happening through you and me. I will not forget all the treasures due me, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Yeah, today is the day I'll be more of myself, love my skin, where I've been, and everyone else. No more push, no more pull, simply flow as I go, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the stars and the sun, from the magical one, I am part of this thing called life. Yeah, from the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. I am loved by this thing called life.
Payson, the crowd is a little thin here this morning. I think people are out to various events, but the right people are here, and we're glad for that. So today is what? March. We're in March, the second day of March. And the last day of February was a notable day for much of the world. Anybody know what that is? This isn't the quiz.
Our 56th month anniversary.
Oh, that was our 56th month anniversary, but no, that's not for all the world. Anybody? Think of another faith tradition. Ramadan began, and it's interesting. The more I find out about it, the more I take delight in the discipline that many Muslims have to observe Ramadan. They don't eat any time during eight daylight hours, only from sunset, after sunset to before sunrise in the morning. This is time when eating can be done.
That's why I like the speaker over there. I'm still figure that out.
We have
What?
somebody online.
They can't hear.
Can we mute? Okay. So, hello to all of you who are online. Just an aside here for a minute. So, that time of fasting, that time of reading their holy scriptures, the Quran, that time of meditation and prayer is something that I honor in that faith tradition. And in a sense, I wish to emulate some of that in my tradition. But this morning as we gather, we realize that there's a time when we observe our holiness, the time when we connect with divinity in a unique way, that great oneness which we are part of. Well, I guess I better not do a message before I get to the opening prayer. Come on, Ram, smile at that. So let's just take a moment to be quiet. To know that we are divine creations. To know that all things work together for good, however it may seem at any given moment. To know that we can know that direction that our path is to take in this life. To know what is ours to do. We are so grateful for that. And we give ourselves to the learning, the understanding, the practice that will allow us to live those things fully. So as everyone has joined this morning, we are grateful for each one who's joined us here in person, and for those who've joined us online, those who will listen to this recording afterwards. We are grateful, and so it is. We move now to our opening song, and if Terry will put that up for us, I will remember what it is. Rise Up by Terry Wilder. Come on, Donna, come on up here and rise up with me. As we...
All right. I think we've risen, or I have. Hello, welcome to Unity of Payson. My name is Donna. I'm your platform hostess this morning. We're glad you're with us. If you're with us virtually today, you may enter where you're joining from in the chat. And we'd like to recognize anyone new to Unity of Payson. And let's see, can I see the participants? And we'll see if anybody's new. And yeah, hey, hello, Earl. Hi, Ed. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Kay. Hi, Frosty. Hi, Karen. Hi, Marianne. Oldies but goodies. All right. So please remain after the service. We have a couple of things. We have, actually, I don't see any refreshments. We do have coffee, but we also have a puzzle of words that Reverend Neal is going to speak today. And see if you can remember them and take them home with you. Crossword puzzle. On the table in the back where the pencils are. Okay. If you'd like to be informed of our weekly activities and you're not on our Monday e-newsletter address, group address, please give us your email address. And you can go to unityofpayson.org and leave us a message. Again, we warmly welcome you, and from our Unity of Payson family, we say together, we love you, we appreciate you, we welcome you, and we bless the Christ you are. And so it is. Now it's time for gratitudes. We're grateful for those who support Unity of Payson with your time, talent, and treasure. We're grateful for our events that we continue to hold, and this technology that allows us to continue to meet in person and virtually. If you have a gratitude to share, please raise your hand in person or raise your hand online. And I will call on you. Anybody have a gratitude to share? Oh,
Well, I do to start with. But if you're up with us online, I invite you to just unmute and speak out when somebody else is finished, if you have a gratitude to share. We don't want to miss you. Donna said it, and it wasn't important to all of the world, but it was important to us. We had our 56th month anniversary on last Friday, the end of the month of February. And things didn't go exactly as we planned it, but it was a good time. What?
I want you to be on the camera when you're speaking.
Oh. Well, I'm one of the month anniversary celebrants, so I'll be here. But I am grateful for that time, the time we had to share together, the years and the months we have spent together, and the spiritual stimulation that we provide for each other. It's a pretty neat thing, and I'm grateful. Somebody else?
One in the chat.
One in the chat? Would you read it out for us? From Earl?
You can see it from there, but it's for August, a great-grandson born February 25th.
Earl says, August, a great-grandson born February 25th. Thank you, Earl. And good morning and happy Sunday. And Ed, people are getting in on it all the way around. Greetings to one another. Now, anybody else in person that has a gratitude?
I would like to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, Reverend Neal just talked about spiritual stimulation. It's the first time I heard that phrase. But it would make sense that we would have that with each other since we met at Unity Village, right? That's all I wanted to say.
You're grateful for that, and so am I. Somebody else. Phyllis is over here. Phyllis, I'm making my way to you. Speak directly into the mic. Speak loud.
Well, my kids, my older son, Jeff's family, will be coming home the first week of April, and we've really missed them. It will be 6 months since they've been in Thailand. They've had an absolutely wonderful time, and they've kept me up with our granddaughter, Giovanna. Her nickname is Jovi. We call her that a lot. And she started walking at 10 months. And now she's dancing. She wiggles over the hip. She's not quite a year old. She'll be a year old March 14. And we're just really looking forward to seeing them and being with them. We really miss them.
That is exciting. A year old, March 14th. Okay, let's move on. Unity is grounded in meditation and affirmative prayer, and we have prayer chaplains to support you. And if you see somebody wearing a blue and white stole, that means they're a prayer chaplain with Unity of Payson. And you can tap us on the shoulder after service if you would like prayer support here in person. If you would like prayer support and you're online, please send an email to the address on the screen, and our chaplains will pray with you for 30 days, and then we send your request to Silent Unity, and they pray with you another 30 days, and their process is 24/7 prayer vigil. Very powerful. All prayer requests are held sacred and confidential. And if you'd like to be contacted by a chaplain, please leave your contact information with your request. Unity of Payson's theme for March is divine guidance. Let's say our affirmation together. I am wisdom, divinely guided at all times. And you know, wisdom is one of the 12 powers that we believe are our spiritual gifts in Unity. And to say I am wisdom is really to claim it and to know it embodied in our soul. Today's speaker is Rev Neal Worthington, and the title of his talk is Led by the Spirit, Trusting Divine Direction. We often get direction from thinking about things, rational considerations, and we don't necessarily go within for guidance. And so Reverend Neal will talk about going within for guidance and the trustworthiness of divine direction as we come to know it. Well, this is the first Sunday, so we'll do our Unity mission and vision right now. Together, we honor the Spirit within, join together as one diverse family, and serve the community with love and joy. And our vision, as one, we lovingly live together in the light of the Spirit within us. As a growing, intentionally diverse family, we act, learn, and play together. We joyfully care for each other and serve the community with love. And now it is time to prepare for meditation, and we'll listen to a meditation song, I Am Light.
Things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light, yeah. I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. All light. Yeah. All light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light, yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
It's a holy time when we spend time in quiet, with open hearts and open minds. So for a few minutes, let's breathe, put aside all of the other events, thoughts, actions in our lives for a moment. And know that we are more than all those things that we sometimes use to define ourselves. We're not the pieces, we're not the pain, we're not the color, we're none of these things that are so much a part of our physical makeup. So will you with me turn to what you are? You could say, I am. And all of the gifts of Creator God would follow afterwards brightly. So as you sit in the silence for a few minutes, know yourself to be worthy and the beneficiary of all the good that the divine has in store for you. We take a moment in the silence to reflect the goodness of God, the worthiness that we are, the divine expression that we are in the silence. And then we look beyond ourselves and we realize that that divinity is a never-ending, unlimited, absolutely majestic, absolutely unstoppable truth. So we reflect for a minute on the greatness of the divine. On the largeness of the universe. On the inclusiveness of all that is in the silence. And then we turn back and turn within and realize that that great spirit is within us. Every one of us. Waiting to be seen, waiting to be known, waiting to be expressed. So we look within and we see our divinity in the silence. For all of this, we are grateful. We bring our awareness back to this time, the place where you are, recognizing our humanity alongside of our divinity. Again, we are grateful. Bring your awareness back now. Open your eyes. Become aware of where you are, those around you. As we turn to consider our thoughts for today. You can't have missed it. Our theme for the month of March is divine guidance. Our affirmation is so simple, and thank you, Donna, for putting that out there. I am, and this is the gift, this is the divine gift we have. I am wisdom, divinely guided at all times. But it's time for a quiz. And so we start with a quiz. I'm looking for the name of a boy. Just start there. A boy who was to become a great spiritual leader. This boy was born to a devout married woman that had not been able to conceive for years and years and years. And that was a longing of her heart, a great desire of her heart to have a child. I'll keep going, call it out, and if you're online, you can just unmute and call it out as well.
Oh, wait, that wasn't her.
That longing that she had was granted, and she had a son. And when she had that son, she vowed to God from her heart and for her son that she would give him back to God. Vowing that he would not drink strong drink, he would never cut his hair, and he would not touch a corpse or a dead person. Part of the tradition into which he was born. What? Something in the chat. What's it say, Terry? Oh, from Ed. Isaac. Well, you're close in time, but not quite. We'll keep going. Thanks, Earl. Good shot. So he was, in fact, taken by his mom after he was weaned and given to the priest for the priest to rear him in a godly way. And he stayed with that priest. His mother came to visit him often, but there he was, and he began then to serve in that house of worship. Earl, you can have another guess if you get it as the clues go along. At 12 years of age, still serving. Well, you know, you have the first three letters right, Earl. Earl says Samson. It's interesting because Samson has a lot of parallels to this character. Samuel. Okay, I'm not sure who was first, but we heard it a couple of times. Samuel. The boy Samuel at 12 years. Let me just do a little departure. Samuel was a Nazirite, and Samson was a Nazirite. Two characters in the Hebrew Scriptures. Both of them dedicated to God by their parents. But anyway, back to the story. At 12 years of age, Samuel was sleeping in the temple. Now we can call it a temple, and I had to keep it mysterious by calling it a house of worship. But in the temple he was sleeping, and he heard a voice. And he thought, oh, Eli the priest wants me. And he ran to the bedside of Eli and said, you called? And Eli said, no, I didn't call. Go back to sleep. Samuel did, and again came the voice. And he went to Eli. No, Eli didn't call. And a third time, the same thing happened. And he went, and when he got there, Eli said, no, I didn't call. When you hear the voice again, say this, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. Samuel went back to sleep. The voice came again. I'm not sure whether it was a voice or a presence. I don't know if it was audible or not. That's kind of how the story goes. But a great sense of presence of the divine, and that voice or that presence communicated to Samuel that great things were going to happen for his nation. It was at a tipping point, and wonderful things were about to happen, bad though they might seem at the moment. He also communicated that Eli, the priest, his family and his home was going to be destroyed, because in that family there were children who were, well, the scripture calls it wicked. I'm not crazy about that word, but it was bad news along with good news. But the voice of God coming to this young boy. So, of course, in the morning, Eli wanted to know, what did God have to say? And Samuel reluctantly related it to him. And even Eli said, as the Lord wills, was willing to look even at the destruction of his own family, perhaps a consequence of some of the actions of the family. But the key thing in this whole story is that the direction of the divine came when the servant was listening, came when the listener had his inner ears wide open. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. So we're going to move on and begin to talk about divine guidance. Some of it very similar to the story of Samuel. But let me talk about what divine guidance is not first. It is not reading a single sacred text, perhaps memorizing it and taking it word for word and saying, this is the truth. Divine guidance doesn't come that way. Divine guidance doesn't come by following a charismatic spiritual leader who says this is what you should do and this is how you should do it. That's not divine guidance. Neither is divine guidance, for most of us, perhaps some, but for most of us, it's not an auditory thing. And I really suspect that Samuel's wasn't especially auditory. It was just, it came to him. It was the presence of God with him. So you remember the story, actually a comedy sketch, that I watched when I was way young. Bill Cosby sketch about Noah and the Ark. Anybody remember that? Kind of went like this. I'm not anywhere near as good as, I got to get a prop here too. I'm not anywhere near as good as Bill Cosby, but I'll try to give you an idea of, in a comedy fashion, how this idea of God speaking and conversing with us went. And I don't think that's the comedy. In this little sketch, Noah, the carpenter, was in his rec room, making a few things for the house, sawing, oomphah, 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 sawing away. And a voice came, Noah, somebody calling me? Says Noah. And he went back, oomphah, 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 sawing away. And then the voice came, a little more forceful, Noah. And Noah's response was, someone calling me? And then he heard the little bell or chime sound. And Noah, came the voice again. Who is that? Says Noah. Who is that? It's the Lord, Noah. And in Bill Cosby fashion, right. Where are you? What do you want? I've been good. I want you to build me an ark. Right. What's an ark? Well, the story goes on. But that's not what divine guidance is. Thank you for allowing me to try out my Noah on you. And we're going to get into what that is. But we asked the question, and we asked this yesterday in Saturday's Soul Boost, who am I to deserve divine guidance? Who am I to say, God, guide me? Well, you know some of the answers to that question. You're the very creation of the divine. You're created in the image and likeness of the divine. You are beneficiaries of all the gifts, and we've begun to talk about that. And it all comes from within, because the divine is within. And thus, the source of divine guidance is from within as well. The divine is, you might say, closer than a brother, inseparable. We as divine creations are inseparable from that, and I'm going to use the term great spirit. I like that term anyway, but we'll call that the great spirit, and then the spirit within us as well that we think of more when we think of ourselves. Anyway, we are built to receive divine guidance. I put together a key spiritual truth. We are primarily created as spirit. That spirit is forever within us and the true source of our knowing. I like words. And this one's a little bit unfamiliar, but it's really apropos to what I'm talking about this morning. Numinous. Anybody know what numinous means? Oh, there's a laugh going on over here. Numinous comes from the Latin word numen. And the Latin word numen has this idea that there is divine approval going on by the nodding of the head. Lumen. Luminous, and that could be creation. That could be a landmark, a holy place. But today, I'm going to say numinous us. We are numinous. We are that place where divine approval is given, kind of similarly to what the creation story in the Hebrew Scripture says. After every day, we remember saying, God said that it was good. And God said that it was good. But after the sixth day, he said, God said that it was very good. Because on the sixth day, he created humanity. That's just how the story goes. At any rate, we are fearfully, wonderfully, marvelously made, created. We stand in awe. I'm not crazy about the word awesome, but it is an awesome thing that we are. That we are there, or here, or there, or wherever we are, in whatever state we are, by divine approval. We are numinous us. We have innate spiritual qualities. We are the very presence of divinity in the world. That's a starting point. Then there's part of that key spiritual truth that says we're primarily created as spirit. We just covered that. And then it talks about the spirit within. The spirit is forever within us. There's a scripture in the Christian scriptures in Romans that says, the Spirit, it's talking about great spirit here, bears witness with our spirit, there's that connection, us being the divine expression, inseparably connected, that we are the children of God. We have the right to all of these things that are our legacy from the divine. And it's not because somebody out there wrote a will and we looked at it years later and took what the will said because it was ours to be given to. It's because that benefactor is in fact within us, deep within us, ever within us. And we live from the inside out then, when that's the case. I'm sure that many of you have a spiritual practice that demonstrates some of this. But I just have to tell you how excited I am about mine. I love my morning hours. By the way, I've been at your house, Ram, in the early morning hours. I know you have a great sense of that too, because I've walked in on it and felt it. So there's that sense that we have that we're not just looking at something out there, something in the a long distance away from us, some possibility. We in fact have it within us. And I love that morning time when I know that. Love that morning time when I have, as it was, almost like the Noah and God kind of thing, a conversation with the divine. For many of us, we have spirit guides. For me, I have one that's been with me for close to 50 years. Long time, and from the very beginning, when I would spend time in the quiet, It's as though a dialogue came forth that I could write down afterwards. Direction, divine guidance. All from that which is within me, Christ within me, the hope of glory. It reaffirms again the oneness, our oneness with the one, our oneness with all that is. When we spend that time in the quiet, listening. But the divine spirit that is within us is also the true source of all of our knowing. And here we get down to it in terms of the guidance. We are informed by the spirit within. A lot of this takes the form of intuition. I didn't grow up being very acquainted with intuition. Best I knew about it was there was women's intuition. Of course, men didn't get involved in that. So I didn't pay much attention to it. But over the years, on my spiritual trek, I got to sense and know that there were some things outside of the books I read, outside of the preachers I listened to, outside of the science that I studied, that were available for me to know. And that could come from within me. Not to denigrate any of those other forms of knowing, but this form of knowing is just always with me, always mine. It's reliable. That, I didn't think when I first started thinking maybe intuition was something to be a part of, I wasn't sure how reliable it was for me. But it is proven to be very reliable. Going back to my spiritual practice, which I love. Right now, this is what's happening for me these days. Right now, balance is important for me. And knowing that, I look for guidance in terms of balance when I'm in my meditative times in the morning. I also use a tool, and not everybody does, a little pendant that I use it's called dowsing, to douse, to kind of connect with my intuitive self. And lately every morning, because there are 6 or 7 things that I need to do, 6 or 7 areas of my life that need attention that day, I will make a little wheel, a half a wheel, a little circle, a hub in the center, and then spokes of the wheel going outwards. And then I'll write those 6 or 7 things. If I have 7 spokes, I'll label each of those spokes. Then I'll set my paper and take my pendant, close my eyes, and say, what is the best thing for me to do? What's the first thing for me to do today? What do I give my attention to first? And I open my eyes, and the pendant is swinging toward one of those spokes. That's number 1. And I'll do it again. What's second most important for me today? And third and fourth and fifth. I still marvel at it. If I have 7 things that I'm talking about, never once does my pendant repeat. It doesn't go back to the same spoke again. It gives me reliable guidance. Here's how to spend your time today. I don't argue with my intuition anymore. I don't second guess it. Because I know that from within me, part of my whole makeup allows me to access the divine guidance that's there. Yesterday in Saturday Soul Boost, Kay Butler, I don't know if Kay's out here this morning, but Kay came up with an image that was really helpful. That divine guidance is there, but there can be blockages to it. I can willfully block it out. I can just have a pattern that keeps me from receiving that divine guidance. It's kind of like there's an ocean of goodness trying to get from this ocean to this ocean. And there's an isthmus of land. And there's a canal through that isthmus. So this ocean of goodness, this ocean of guidance, if you will, that would come to me, would come into a lock. If I, the keeper, open the gates of the lock. Allowing that to come in also allows us to flow out. Contributions to the world. But just that idea that that ocean of goodness, or that ocean of guidance is there ready to be accessed, ready for me to let it in, so all good things happen, so ships can float and cargo can be carried through the canal. That goodness is waiting, that guidance is waiting. And I have something to say about whether it's received and whether the purpose of that canal is fulfilled, because I'm the lock keeper. So we are ones who can accept and welcome that divine guidance. That's a whole different mindset than I lived with for a lot of my life. Or we can resist it actively, or we can just kind of ignore it, leaving in place the blockages that keep me from experiencing that divine guidance. It is reliable, it is trustworthy. We can let go and let God, as the saying goes. Be the all that is, both in terms of blessings, physical, and blessings in so many other ways, but today for our title, guidance. Let go and let God be your guide. Usually I say, how do I do that? Well, I'm not going to do that this morning. For me, for such a long time, I wasn't sure of the trustworthiness of divine guidance. It just was foggy. Wasn't sure about it. But as I was thinking about it, as we were talking yesterday, there are litmus tests that can tell you whether it's a divine guidance or not. And I've got 3 of them, and I want to share those litmus tests with you. 1, simple. Is it loving? If you're getting guidance, it's not loving, I don't think it's spiritual guidance, not divine guidance. 2, does it benefit everybody concerned? If not, might not be divine guidance. We speak about equity. How none of us is better than another. None of us is less than another. None of us is more. It's a principle, I believe, that helps me give a little litmus test to guidance that I may be receiving. And then, does it bring peace? If peace is not the result of the divine guidance, it might not happen immediately. But if peace is not the result of that, you may be off track a little bit. So instead of saying, how do I do that? I say, how do I know that? And I use my litmus test. 1, is it loving? 2, does it benefit everybody that is concerned? And 3, does it bring peace? Remember Samuel, that 12-year-old boy, listening, hearing the voice of God. I'm not sure whether he heard it with his ears, but he received it. He got that It could have been, I just thought of this, it could have been a very intuitive thing that just crystallized within him. Anyway, the same is true for you and me. And I'll say that key spiritual truth again. We are primarily created as spirit. That spirit is forever within us and is the true source of our knowing. And so it is.
Well, I'm really glad that Reverend Neal mentioned a litmus test. So I'm in a book study, and we were talking about higher power and accessing higher power several months ago, and I heard the facilitator say something like, well, I tested God, and God came through. And I took that in and I thought about it. And the other day, I tried it. And it was really interesting, very interesting. Reverend Neal and I were at the Southwest Region Conference in California in October, and they had a little ritual for us, and we brought an object that was really special and put it on a table, and we exchanged. We took another object from someone else, and that was part of the ritual. And I took a heart, a ceramic heart that said kindness on it. And I also, when we had Marion's memorial service, and we had all of her ceramics, we were able to take one for ourselves, and I took a bowl that kind of reminded me of the sky. And I put that heart in that bowl. And I put that bowl on a table, on a small table in my living room. And the other day, the bowl was tipped over, like a cat had gotten up there and knocked it over. And when I lifted it up, the heart wasn't there under it. And so I got a flashlight and went looking on the carpet and under the furniture for the heart, and I couldn't find it. And so I did my litmus test, but I did it a little differently than the way Reverend Neal suggested. I said, God, if you hear me, find my heart. Help me find my heart. I'm no good without my heart, God. And like within 2 seconds, I shined the flashlight underneath. You know, I have an electric like heater. The house had electric heaters, and underneath there, I shined it right in the spot, and there it was. And it was like, thank you, God. I have my heart now, you know. So that, to me, is another type of litmus test, if you will. But it was intention, and I spoke it out loud, you know, that it was my intention to be heard, or for me to hear. And I guess that's another way to access our divine knowing. So let's see, we are going to do our offering now, or talk about our offering. Unity of Payson is a source of spiritual nourishment and inspiration, yes? And in this community, let us receive gratefully and give generously. So please know that your gifts not only support this ministry, but they go out to the larger community. And They go to Unity World headquarters, and they also go to some place in the community. And may I say one that might be happening? Yeah, Payson Community Kids might receive a tithe from Unity of Payson this year. So just know that the tithes go out to the larger community. And anytime you're inspired to give, please do so. You can give online at unityofpayson.org. And our giving affirmation, let us say that together. Freely we give and freely we receive. And we also have a basket by the door that has that plaque next to it for receiving your gifts today. Thank you for your support. And our special music is Something Wonderful by Harold Payne.
Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. And all this love inside, we can let it shine. Oh, something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening today. Right here, right now. Ay, 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 something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me. It's gonna happen to me. It's happening to me. Something wonderful, something happening to me. Right, can you feel it? Right now, right here, right now. Something wonderful.
Okay, dedication of the offering. We're grateful for all the gifts that we give and for the divine promise of abundance. We bless the gifts and those who give as we say together, divine love flows through us, blessing and multiplying all that we are all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are prosperous without limit, and we are grateful, and so it is. Amen. 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 And in Hebrew, Amen. All right. Next Sunday, we continue with our theme for March, Divine Guidance. And our speaker is Rev Neal Worthington, and the title is Turning Up the Volume of the Still Small Voice. All right. I'll give you some announcements, and then we'll close our service. Teresa has changed the time of Qigong to 9:30 in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Zoom, on the Unity of Payson Zoom channel. And I love her acronym, and I think it might be on our website. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. It's the acronym for Qigong. Rather than share it now, just check unityofpayson.org. And we have a Course in Miracles with Rev Neal on Tuesday, 3:30 to 5 p.m., and that meets on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. We have our writers group being resurrected March 11th, which is a Tuesday, so this will be the second and the fourth Tuesdays at 4 p.m. And if you would like to join, please give me your email. And I sent out a prompt yesterday, and the prompt is Spring is Springing. And there's 5 different possible ways to approach that. To have something to write about that we share as part of our group. And then we'll also share things that are important to you that you're writing, or any questions or comments you have about writing after that as well. And again, that's going to be March 11th, Tuesday at 4 p.m. on Zoom. And we also have a PS from Neil.
If you saw on the slide 3:30 for the time, it is 4 o'clock. That is correct. 4 to 4:15 will be the time frame for that. So we'll get that corrected on the slide for 4 to 5:15. Not 4 to 4:15. That would be a tough one. Okay. Well, I got it wrong too. We have. I want to remind you. A crossword puzzle. If you're here socializing in person, Terry, I'm sure you can take that maybe and put it up on in the newsletter. It's a hard copy. We can send you the file though. So it'll be for those of you who are with us virtually. You have to wait a day, but you get the cross puzzle too. Crossword puzzle. So we're going to say our prayer for protection as we do to close, and then our closing song. So if you're with me here, would you stand as we say the prayer for protection, and then we'll go out with our closing song. If you're here virtually, hang in there. I'd love to greet you after we're done. So together we say, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our closing song, Spirit's Hymn. And if you want to begin to socialize at some point, sing or socialize, and those of you who are online will hang in there and I'll greet you.
In Spirit's love, my life is found, my breath, my